Hello viewers of SSBC, welcome. This is Open Discussion program that comes to you every Monday after Arabic evening news live from Juba. My name is Deng Dut Deng and my guest of today is Honorable Chief Administrator of Greater Pibor Administrative Area, Lokoli Ami Bolel. Welcome to Open Discussion program, Honorable.
Thank you so much, SSBC. I would like to thank SSBC for all activities you did, and then you cover all information in South Sudan. We say we are a younger country, but now it's noon because of SSBC.
Okay. Honorable, please update us about general situation in Greater Pibor, especially the security and peace impact.
I came recently from the headquarters. General situation is okay, it's stable, but we have some challenges. First, I would like to congratulate our President General Salva Kiir Mayardit for his own wise leadership. We are here because of him. He's a man of the peace. I was appointed last year, it was June 3rd, 2021. Because my aim is to unite people of Greater Pibor, to have one voice, all politicians and youth, and we can address with one voice to our youth. To stop child adoption and cattle raiding. That's what caused problem in Greater Pibor. And the day I appointed, I talked with UNDP, and I tell to bring all politicians to a conference in Greater Pibor, and UNDP he did. I was passed the message clear that we need all politicians of Greater Pibor to have one voice. To talk to our youth to stop child adoption and cattle raiding. But one thing I find out, the politician, if he don't fulfill his interest, he cannot support. Because some politicians suspect if new governor come, he support to appoint his uncle or his whatever nephew, or support to fulfill his interest. If you don't provide, they don't support what you're doing. Even right thing or whatever, they don't support. That's what I find out. After I went to area, I was focused to unite all our neighbors because I was in Jongule before 32 state or 28 state. I was MP in Jongule. I was chairperson for education. And I know with the most of people in Jongule, I was thought that we can have the peace with all surrounding neighbors or surrounding other countries like Ethiopia. After I reached in headquarters, I called Governor of Jongule to come to address the people in Greater Pibor about the unity and peace reconciliation. We was going well until we collect women and child adoption. We collect 147. And we change for each others. It will continue well and with all the neighbors in Greater Jongule until November 19, 2021. I was trying to go to Dubai to knock the door for the donors for investment, because in Greater Pibor we don't have enough service delivering to our people. Even road, with the 7 counties we have, we don't have road. I was thought that let me go to knock the door for investors. I went to Dubai. After I reached there, I received a phone call, and they told me that there is incident happened in Jongule. They slaughtered in cold blood 7 traitors. Cattle traders, because after I agree with my friend governor of Jongole, and there was some cattle keepers take their cattle to the Jongole, they sell there in town. Some they brought here to the Juba. Fortunately happened that they killed these traitors in town, in the market of Moral. 7 people. I came back. After I came back, I didn't achieve the mission I was going to. I came back. And then I went to Greater Pibor and I mobilized all the counties. No one can revenge. Let us leave in the hand of the government. No one used from Pibor can revenge what happened. And I thank Governor of Jongole because he stood. Even they collect some cattle keepers who went to sell their cattle in Jongole, and he brought it to his compound. And he sent it back to send it here to Juba. From Juba, and he ran the flight to Kumru. I never forget, and I appreciate him for what he did. He was not happy.
As chief administrator, with your government, what do you tell youth, those who get involved in cattle rustling and child abduction between Greater Pibor, Jongole, Eastern Equatoria and South Sudan border to Ethiopia? What do you tell the youth in order to embrace peace and allow development flow in the area?
Like question you ask me, a message I have to pass to the youth, we still with the peace. I tell my message to the peace of both youth of Greater Jongole and Greater Pibor. We cannot do anything if we still continue fighting, revenge. We don't do anything. And we cannot get any development in our country. We have to sit down because we have one president and one speaker in the country. We have to accept ourselves, stop all revenge, so we can develop our country. I don't recognize that. I say our youth is good. Even youth of Greater Pibor is used to touch all neighbors. The reason I find 3 things in part of Greater Pibor. The first, youth of Greater Pibor, the problem we face education and service. There is not any service we deliver to our youth in cattle camp. Example area we call Nanam. Nanam is the border for Lawnwir and Bor. There they survive by their own way with their gun. There is no road going there. There is not water. There is not even the NGOs like UN, what they take some food, like he used to go to the area. And there is not any network. How we think somebody survive with own gun without any service as government we provide to them, and there is not education, there is not water? How we can listen to us?
The government of Greater Pibor administrative area, under the leadership of Lokoli Amo Bulel, held a peace conference with the youth of Greater Pibor. The conference aimed to discuss issues related to cattle raiding and child abduction that is happening between Greater Pibor, Jongole, Eastern Equatoria, and South Sudan border to Ethiopia. Addressing the event, the chief administrator, Lokoli Amo Bulel, urged the youth of Greater Pibor to refrain from cattle raiding, as well as to end the issue of child abduction between neighboring states.
حاولنا كان كلمنا مع منظمة بتاع بيس كانال عشان يساعدنا يجيب شباب بتاع جريتا بيجبور بكاونتيز بتوع كله ويجيب السياسيين بتاعنا اللي ممثلين بمثل شعب بتاع جريتا بيجبور بجوبا وجينا غانا يوم 4 ناقينا وحينين حينين الاجندس. اول القوات بتاعنا برانا كان شعب بتاع جريتا بيجبور وشباب بتاعنا قاعدين يشاكل ببعض بدوفة هجمت. نمرينين القواتنا مع اقواننا مجاورة ولو جريتا جونغولي ايسترن اكواتوريا وإثيوبيا هندو حدود معنا، وجينا جلسنا نيجي نناقش وحاجات ديل ونهدينا شيوخ ونتعاون وكل الكبار الأيام مع شباب مع سياسيين بتاعنا اللي في جوبا، قالنا ناقينا مودة يكون في قوانين نخطوطات. زول ضرب زول يعملوا كيف، زول ما يجي شال بقر يعملوا كيف، زول ما يجي جاب جنة من نادي المجاورة نعملوا كيف. صفقنا كلنا شعب بتاع جريتا بيبور وما حيزين حاجة اسمه إن شاء الله دابشون إن كاتول ريدي.
أنا أشكر الإدارة جريتا بيبور على راسه شيف والحكومة بتاعه. جينا من الجوبة بدعوة من حكومة الجريتا. الهدف هو مؤتمر الشباب للسلام بالتعاون مع بيس كانال. مؤتمر الشباب في مناطق بتاعت الجريتا بيبور بالذات مناطق بتاع مورلي، خاصة المناطق اللي عنده حدود مع قبائل بتاعنا جيران، تجاه بتاع لكوانغولي عندنا حدود مع لو، تجاه بتاع شمال مثلا تجاه بتاع كوبل عندنا حدود مع دينكا اللي هو البور، واتجاه بتاع جنوب عندنا قبائل بتاع الشرق استوائية. كل شباب ديل تجمعوا هنا 3 يوم، عندنا 3 يوم هنا قاعدين يناقشوا القضايا بتاع السلام. أولا شباب بنفوسه، شبابنا بنفوسه بيقاتل بنفوسه باسم بتاع دفاعات بدفاعات. هنا عندنا نظام بتاع دفاعات، فالنظام بتاع دفاعات بقى شباب براه بنفوسه. ده مشكلة عشان انه يزعزع استقرار بتاعت الامن في جريتا بيبور. والمؤتمر قرر انه الاسلوب ده التصرف بتاع الشباب ده يكون ما في. حاجة تاني اللي هو احترام الجيران، احترام جيران. ما في الشباب متحركين عشان يمشي يشيلوا بكر بتاع جيران، يشيلوا جنة بتاع جيران. الكلام ده قلنا مؤتمر عملوا بانه كلام ده مرفوض. الزول خالف الحته ده، القانون فيه، حكومه فيه في كل مستويات. لنا بنقبض الزول ده مش نسجنوه في جريتا بيبور، بنوديه رينج، بنوديه توريد، بنوديه يي عشان يودر 3 سنين لما يرجع يكون يبقى لنا زول الكويس. شكرا.
The former Deputy Minister of Information, Telecommunication and Postal Services, Baba Midan Konyi, called on the youth to live in peace and harmony among themselves and their neighboring states.
في البدء بنحيي مشاهدي بتاع التلفزيون القومي لجنوب السودان. عايز أشكر السيد الحاكم وحكومة بتاعه في إدارية بتاع جريتا بيبور، ودير أشكر الأعضاء الجو معي في البرلمان القومي. إحنا جينا بالدعوة من سيد الحاكم، والغرض إنه في مؤتمر قام به منظمة بتاعت البيس كانال، جابوا فيه شباب بتاع إدارية بتاع بيبور من كل المقاطعات المجاور للولايات الأخرى. والهدف الأساسي إنه كيف الشباب يعيشوا في السلام فيما بينهم كأبناء بتاع جريتا بيبور. الهدف الثاني إنه كيف الشباب يحافظوا على السلام بين إدارية بيبور والولايات المجاورة، خاصة ولاية جنجلة وولاية الشرق الاستوائية والمناطق المجاورة لدولة جنوب السودان مثل دولة إثيوبيا. فدي واحد من الأهداف بتاعت إقامة المؤتمر. واحد من المقررات بتاعت المؤتمر إنه أي زول قام بقرق هذه الاتفاقية بين الشباب بتاعت مورلي فيما بينهم أو شباب بتاع نيوا، لازم الزول ده يحاسب قانونيا، يخطوه في السجن والقانون ياخد مجراه. برضو اتفقوا انه ممنوع منعا باتا لكل المجرمين اللي بيمشوا عشان ما ينهبوا أبقار أو عيال في مناطق المتجاورة. ده بوزيشن خديناه واحتفقنا عليه في إدارية بتاعت بيبور، وأنا بفتكر إنه ده خطوة كويس، وخطوة ده داير أشيد بدور بتاع المنظمة ودور بتاع سيد الحاكم ودور بتاع الرئيس بتاع مفوضية بتاع السلام، لأنه السلام ده نحن لو ما حافظناه ما في زول تاني بيجينا من برا عشان يحافظ على السلام. احنا شفنا سيد رئيس الجمهورية كويس رقم التحديات الموجود في الدولة هو دائما واقف مع السلام، عشان كده الدور بتاعت الحكام والدور بتاعت المحافظين انه يحافظ على السلام ويكون في استقرار عشان الشعب بعد ده يتمتع بتنمية، يتمتع باستقرار، يتمتع بخيرات بتاعت البلد. فالمؤتمر كان ناجح، المؤتمر مقررات بتاعه كله كويس، ونانا بنفتكر انه ده خطوة بعد ذاك عشان كل الإداريات وكل الولايات الناس يركزوا في انه نبشر السلام ونكون كلنا سفرة للسلام. شكرا جزيلا.
Okay, Honorable, did you make any form of scenario or any conference as a leadership of Greater Pibor to let the youth be aware that the peace is in corner of South Sudan?
I did, since I come, I did 9-time conference where I used to took all the youth and take a whole politician. We did in Gumuru, we did in Likwangule, we have 7 counties. I took all these 7 counties, we did conference, and we did one in headquarters. We did a lot of conference, UNDP, they helped me, and there is another organization we call Peace Canal. They didn't conduct all this conference. We did a lot of conference, but there is not any access we can reach. Do like places I mentioned in Nanam and Jom. The car they cannot go, and even though there is not any road we can reach there. Only in this dry season, but during raining season even you then never think about it.
Honorable, we heard about the visit of Governor of Eastern Equatoria State to the Pibor administrative area. Can you tell us what the visit was about?
Well, exactly there was a conflict between Tapazak and cattle keepers of Maru inside of Jebel Boma. Tapazak, they come, they took some cattle in cattle camp. They are not coming in huge number. They come like 5 people, they took 10, 20, 3 cattle, and even some youth, they was mobilized themselves, they have to go to Tapazak. Because during dry season, cattle keepers from Tapazak, they move to Boma because of grazing and water. They move to that area of Jebel Boma. They live there. So they start that activity for stealing themselves. So even youth, they was mobilized themselves to go to fight. So I called emergency, I called Cameron Luis. I told him that let us go to rescue that problem, to go meet them, to talk to them. So that was the reason Luis came immediately. Unimis, he took him, and Unimis, he took me in Great Pibor. We went there. We called use of cattle camp. And then we talked to them, and we called tools of Tapazak. We tell them that you have to live together without any stealing. Both of you, you have interest. There is a road coming from Kepoita. Sometimes they bring their good to Boma. And those of Tapazak, they need water and grass. They move to Boma. So for this interest, you have to stay together. Love yourself. Don't steal yourself. That's what thing I call General like Louis Labong. That's what the reason we went. We went there to 3 agenda. First, to unite all this tribe in that side, because in Jebel Boma we have Jay, Kachipo, and Murli. And then Tapazaku, they are moving to that area during dry season. So we're going to talk to them about to stay peacefully, to unite themselves without any problem.
We also had the visit of delegations headed by the Minister of Interior. Can you also tell us why did the beast Greater Pibor?
Well, exactly how I narrated earlier, because they went because for incident was happening by it. President, they sent them to go to see situation in Baidit, in Jongole. After come back, you have to go to Greater Pibor to find out what is the problem, why is this thing happen. And this was the reason they went there reading by Minister of Interior with all our security organ. That was the reason they went to visit Greater
Okay,
Pibor.
Honorable, let's leave that issue of security and let us focus on education. Can you please tell us, is education improving in Greater Pibor administrative area, or there is some challenges?
Well, exactly, we have 4 inside of education, like I'm mentioning. There is other Payam, they don't have a school. We have only in these 7 counties. In Payam, we don't have more school. Reason is with conflict what we have between our cattle keepers. Sometimes then Murle they go to Nuer area, Nuer come and Denka come. So this problem, and because for insecurity that happen for cattle keeper going on and have revenge, all this, even we are not stable that other Payam to be school to be effective.
Are you saying that some schools are not operating because of insecurity?
Yeah, many they are not operating, but some they are operating like in headquarters. Yeah, inside the town only, like in county, headquarters of the counties. Yeah, but other Payam, they don't. Insecurity, this is a major problem. And second, we don't have qualified teachers. Because some we have all teachers that some of them they are Arabic partner. We were looking forward if our situation is stable side of security to train more teachers or we hire more teachers. Now even in headquarters and secondary we brought 4 teachers, some from Equatoria and some from Ugandan. So we support it so you can teach our children. So we have that program. Now this year there is some line ministries, they had some grant for education. So I'm planning to make a screening for the teachers, and if there is some money located so we can hire more teachers from different places.
Did you talk to NGOs? Because there are some organizations that support education, those of UNICEF and others.
Yeah, UNICEF now is supporting. Yeah, yeah. I talked to them. Even now there is some teachers given some allowances by this whole organization, especially UNICEF.
Honorable, education is one of rights a human must acquire and a right for all. Health authorities, what are the mechanisms to use to influence the people get attracted in education and interested to go to school?
Like what I mentioned earlier, I have a mechanism that I have to locate some money, I can hire more teachers from different places. That's the one. And second, we have awareness to all the children, they have to go to school. Third, we have to work hard to bring the peace. That's the reason I move. Like I told you, we have like 9 conference we did, and then we're talking about the peace. Because without peace, even though we bring a lot of teachers, with that environment, they cannot teach us, they cannot stay. So we have first to achieve the peace. After we achieve the peace, so that's a way we can improve education. So we're working hard on that. That's the reason I was thanking our president, because he's a man of peace, always stand for the peace. That's the reason all the governors we're working hard to bring the peace in our country.
How about last year, South Sudan experienced the issue of flooding. The areas like Greater Varigazalt and Greater Alpha Nile affected by flood. Have you any areas that affected by flood too?
Well, exactly to not lying this year, I thank God. The flood is not compared to that year. But this year, flood is okay.
South Sudan is rich of many resources, including animals, forestry, and agriculture. Many people, including the leadership of the country, are encouraging people to go for cultivation in order to fight hunger. Tell us about agriculture in Greater Pibor administrative area. Did people cultivate it well last year?
Yes, this year area what people used to cultivate, they are succeed. But in fact of that was May last year, there was attack. So there was affect people of side of Gumruk. The people they didn't cultivate because of that conflict happened. But the other side they succeed it, including even the Buma and other area of Pashala, they succeed. Like you mentioning, you say then South Sudan we have oil, we have gold, we have animal, we have everything. That's the reason I mentioned earlier. There is not anything we can bring education or we can develop our country if we don't focus on investment, to talk there to focus on agriculture. If we cannot focus on agriculture and knock the door for investors to come to the country, we cannot achieve all these things. That's the reason I went to debate that time. I say I want to knock the door. If we get any investment to come invest on this thing, we can let them make the road, connect all the road to the counties, and we can have a school, more school, and we can have water, and we can have medical hospital. So we can achieve a lot of things. That's the reason in Greater Pibor, even I was reported to the president. If they allow it, we can knock the door if there is any investors. That's the way we can change our people from the violence to bring to the peace. Because like I said earlier, if we don't educate our people, still we continue with this problem, because now in Murle there is not any intellectual or educated person going to cattle raiding or child adoption. So if we change all these youth, like example, always I have some donors or all these organizations to open vocational training, to open youth centers and provide this adult education and carpentry, do all this vocational training so we can change some people.
Yeah, people also need things to veneer their residency, and such food and non-food items, and they access these goods through market. How is market of Greater Pibor, and where did they import their goods?
Exactly, I think you heard me in the radio or in TV. Before 1 month, I was here knocking the door to all the government and security sector. Like I mentioned earlier, the road was closed. We used to take good from Yuba. There is a two way. Sometimes we take the road Bor Pibor. Other we use the road of Das Sara. That's the road we used to take some good with it. And after that conflict I'm mentioning and I read earlier, they close all these roads.
Road is useful for public interest and used for transport of people and goods. Have you discussed that with the leadership of the neighboring state to reopen the roads?
Exactly, that was the reason you asked me the visit of the Minister of Interior. He went because of this purpose, because after incident happened in Baidit, that was the reason that a use of Jongole, that they say you have to, there is not any car going to Greater Pibor because of that incident. And what I know, the road is not belong to any tribe, is not belong to the state. This is a national road. That was the reason I reported to the national government. And that security sector and minister, he went to Greater Pibor and we reported with a written document. And they will say that they will come and they discuss and we will look for solution. This is the hand of the national government.
How people get goods for their trading?
Well, exactly, even I used that like way I went meet with Louis Labong. We use some good coming from Kipot to Buma, Pibor headquarters. We used to take some good there, but it's not like usually the good we have to take from Juba because it's a long road, long way, and these traders they consume a lot of fuel for this, and that road is not really clear road. We use that jungle road during SPLA, when we used to use that side during that struggle.
Honorable, what is your last message to the people of Greater Pibor and the people of South Sudan in general?
Okay, thank you so much. The first message I want to pass to our national government. Yesterday I received information after I arrived at headquarters. There is a group of Kombela region and a militia. They come with a uniform and they cross the border to our side. They come to the Jebel Buma, the area we call Nyalangoro. They come, they attack the people there, burning houses. This was afternoon yesterday. Now people going, but not yet didn't get the full information what they does and how many people kill and what they are now. But people is still going. But afternoon I will get information. But I want to pass the message to national government. There's Ethiopia is another country with some tribe we share. Like we have in our Greater Pibor, we have Anuak of South Sudan. There is Anuak of Ethiopia. So those coming in that side of Gombela, they are Anuak of Ethiopia. That is the Gombela region. Police and everything, they come with a uniform. Now they attack people in Greater Pibor. I want to let national know so we can pass this message to his government of Ethiopia. Later on, it should be problem between country and country. There's a message I want to remind our people. That's what happened now in Greater Pibor. And another message to people of Greater Pibor, we need to stay in the peace without touching any tribe, and we need to stop all these things, child adoption and cattle raiding. Let us wait and it give chance the peace, so we can some service, we can receive some service like road, what we need, and education and water. If we stay peacefully, so we can receive all these things. But if we don't stay peacefully, we still continue with some violence, and we cannot get any services. So there's a few messages I have to tell to my people, and all in South Sudan we have to help our president always stand for the peace. We have to, all of us, support the peace.
Honorable Lokoli Ami Bolel, Chief Administrator of Greater Pibor Administrative Area, thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much.
And with that, viewers of SSBC, we have come to the end of our program. This is open discussion program that come to you every Monday after Arabic evening news with me, Deng Dut Deng, and my colleague Baba Elijah. We present to you socio-political and sport inside South Sudan. Thanks for watching. Please stay tuned for the rest of our program. Goodbye.